To question 3 in Preview 13 CD, you're going to be presented with a fairly complex formula. This formula happens to compute the monthly payment for a loan that you borrow over the course of several years, and you're charged interest and you make payments. So A is the variable that is the answer, which is the amount of the monthly payment you'll be making. Capital P is the amount you borrowed. We call that the principal. R is the percentage rate. Typically that's an annual rate, so make sure you divide by 12. If it's presented as a percent, remember to turn it into a decimal first, you divide by 100, and then you'll divide by 12 to convert it to monthly rate. And then N stands for the total number of payments. So you take your number of years and multiply by 12 because we're making monthly payments. Okay, so you can do this calculation by hand, but because the formula is a little more complicated, I recommend that you use that formula evaluator that I showed you in Desmos in class. So let me slide over and we'll take the template that we had and we'll convert it to this amortization formula. So here we have the template. The link is in OHM, and if we just go through here and make some changes, we can have this compute the payments for us. So, and this will help you complete the rest of the questions in that preview. So I'm just going to call this amortization. Remember, we're going to define our variables. So our formula has different variables. It actually has 4 variables. So I'm going to clear these out and reassign them. We have 3 variables that we'll define, and then the last one is calculated. The A is calculated. So we'll put letter P in here, capital P, and let's just say we're going to borrow $10,000 to start with. But you can change this to whatever number happens to be in your story. And then we've got an interest rate. Let me hit enter here and get an interest rate. So we call that R. Now, when you're working with Desmos, if you want to divide, it's going to make it look like a fraction. So just be aware of that. Where's my letter R here? There it is. So for example, when I figure out my interest rate, I'm going to, let's say it's at 3.5%. So I'm going to do, I want a fraction because I'm going to divide by 100. And then to make this, no, I'm going to divide by 12, sorry. To make this percent into a decimal, one way to do that is divide by 100. So I'm going to do 3.5 divided by 100. So it looks funny here, but the reason that we did this is we turn our annual rate into a decimal, 3.5 divided by 100, and then we divide by 12 to turn it into a monthly rate. So when you do this, if you have to change the rate, you just change the 3.5 and it'll do the rest. Our last variable is N. So I go find N on my keyboard here. I did that a little quicker than the R. And this is the number of payments. So I'm just going to do the number of years times 12. So I'll type in 12 times. Let's say we're doing this over 5 years. So, 5 is the years. We always multiply by 12 to get the value. So I've showed you this, but we keep the variable definitions in a folder so we can get rid of them when we're done. We don't have to see them. Now this formula obviously is a mess. So I'm going to type in that amortization formula just the way it was written in the question. That formula is a big fraction. We call it a rational expression. So to start a big fraction, just hit the division symbol first. It'll make a fraction for you, and then you can put the numerator in and then move down and put the denominator in. So our numerator was capital P times R times the quantity 1 plus R to the N. A little faster on a computer keyboard than it is on the phone keyboard. Now, to make an exponent, if it's not squared, you use the little a raised to the b power key, and it'll move you up there so you can put your exponent in. So I'm going to type the letter n up there in the exponent. Then I'll tap in the bottom, and I'll put the denominator in. The denominator is parentheses 1 plus r, the quantity 1 plus r. raised to the n. So use that exponent key again, the AB, and then minus 1. Now the minus 1 is not in the exponent, so you might have to use that right arrow key to get it out of the way. And notice, once I do that, I'm just going to tap up here in the blank space above to get rid of the blue highlighter. Once I do that, my payment is listed there. Now, this payment is in dollars and cents. So one thing I would recommend is if you know you're going to do dollars and cents, go back into your formula and just stick a round function around your formula. And the way you do that is you can either type the word round or go to funcs and just scroll through and find round in here. Round's in here somewhere. Did I miss it? No, it's down here towards the bottom. There it is. So I do round, and then notice it puts a big parentheses around it, and then I close the parentheses. Now, that rounds it to a whole number. We want 2 decimal places, so next to your formula, put a comma and then put 2. And now it gives me the payment rounded to the hundredths, which is what we need. We need dollars and cents, right? This is the money that we're going to spend. And now, for the questions that you're going to work on in the problem, you can just go back and change the amount. Oops, what if I borrowed $35,000 instead of $10,000? $35,000, and what if the interest rate is 4.6%? Oops, 4.6%. And what if I'm going to pay that off in 10 years? What's my payment? Tap it here, close up your, oh shoot, what did I say this was? 35? I don't know. Let's say I'm borrowing $35,000. I think that's what I said. Tap up here just to get that highlighter off. Close the variables off so you can see the formula. My payment is $364.42. So feel free to try this. It'll save you time doing calculations when you're working the preview. That's it for now. Good luck. You know how to find me if you need help.